I'm hitting record on video and audio. That means it's time. Glad to have you all here.
Some might say Gladius.
Gladius that you're all here. It's a really glade. I'm very glad that you're here.
Glade.
Glad. I'm very glad that you're here.
We're going to totally forget how to say it by the time the show starts.
Yeah, it's going to be all left up, but that's all right.
Yep.
Here we go. 3, 2. Oh, is it recording? Shit.
3, 2, 0. No.
It is. No, it isn't. Resume. Okay, it is now. Now we're recording in 3, 2, 1.
あのグラディウス2ついにファミコンソフトへの移植実現。ファミコンカセットグラディウス2絶賛発売中。
Konami.
Oh.
Hello. I don't know they're selling, but I'm buying.
I'm buying. Sign me up. Konami. I'm in. Gradius. Hey, you all, and welcome to Play Retro. This is Play Retro. We're talking about old video games. I'm one of your hosts, Scott Johnson, and I have played a lot of Gladius, however the hell we're going to say it, over the years. How come they always have to start out shooting those simple balls and then follow things up with a huge fiery sun dragon thing you have to fight? That seems cheap. Oh well, they got my quarters anyway somehow. Perhaps this was always the way. Bombs.
Bombs. And I'm your other host, Brian Dunaway. And I'm just flying around outer space in my prototype fighter jet, the Vic Viper, taking out Bacterians while looking for a big, giant, immortal space brain infection that started this dumb conflict so I can get back home to hang out with my best bud, Lord British. Man, I'm feeling a bit Gradius for retro gaming friends this week. Gradius, Salamander, Life Force, Nemesis, Gaiden Side Story.
Gaiden or Gaiden? Do we know? Gaiden? Gaiden.
Gaiden.
I've always heard Gaiden, but I say Gaiden.
I say Gaiden because I'm American.
You're American, and you're not American. You're American.
That's right. I'm American.
So you do what you got to do. Yes, we're here to talk about Gradius. I was under the impression my entire lifetime that it was
right.
That it was No, I'm sorry. I got it backwards. I thought it was Gradius from the beginning. It's Gradius, according to 4, the fourth game, which is not a good game. I don't even know why we should take 4 seriously, because 4 sucks ass. It's not good. All right.
Wow. So we're gonna get into why Scott thinks that sucks later, aren't we?
Oh, it's so bad. It's a victim of it's a victim of the entering into the 3D era, and they tried to do some really dumb things that did not work in retrospect. 3 though, masterclass. 3 is amazing. Play 3 if you can now. I don't know where people are going to be playing it, but play it. I played it on a...
I know we're going to play it, and we're going to talk about that as well.
Yeah, look
there
where
was
we played.
A really good edition of that I really enjoyed. Look at this,
guys. Hey, Fun Bob, are you listening? Hold on.
Fun Bob?
I said Bob. Didn't I say Bob? I thought I said Bob.
Fun Bobby?
Here's the thing he sent me. So check this out. A nice little place to park my SP, my Ambernick SP. However, not even is it just like a nice little extend your hands, little grippy player thing, right? With foam, or not foam, what do you call it in there?
A felt pad.
Felt pad to protect it all. He 3D printed this and 3D modeled it. Fits perfectly with this device. Docks very nicely right here. Balances perfectly right there. And look what it balances on. Look at this, you guys. Do you see those 2 dudes playing? One of those is Brian Dunaway. The other one is me. And for some reason, I have Jimmy Neutron hair, but I don't care. It's fine.
I got news for you. You have Jimmy Neutron hair.
Well, do I?
But it's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. Look at little arcade machines next to us, and we're sitting on a couch with controllers in our hands. I think they're NES. Yeah, they're rectangle. They're NES controllers. It says Frog Pants Studios on the front. It says Play Retro on this part that holds the device. On the side, there are Sonic rings, a Pokemon ball, and a Zelda thing. What do you call those? I forgot what they're called.
Zelda things.
On the other side, Pac-Man, a few dots, and a ghost getting chased. I freaking love this.
Inky, Blinky, or Dot, or Pinky?
It's Clyde. I don't know.
It's Clyde.
I don't know who it is. Clyde's a dick. But this is beautiful. I mean, I am not kidding when I say, is this filament or is it? What did he do this in?
No, this is resin, and you cannot appreciate this until Fun Bobby puts this in your hand, because Okay, so I do resin printing and filament printing, and Fun Bobby did not fun around with this thing, man. He made this solid, chunky. It is. I got one too. Haha.
Yep. Yeah, he
And
did.
it is super. It was super solid and chunky and weighted, which is great because that means when I put this thing next to the bed, it just if I hit it, it ain't going nowhere. So
Yeah.
this is resin printed.
Yeah.
It's got high detail. It is gorgeous, and man, do we have some talent in our pool.
It's
of
almost
groups.
disgusting how awesome this is. I mean, and I
Yeah.
really truly mean this is maybe one of the coolest things I've ever gotten from a listener in the history of me doing shows like this. This is so
It is.
rad.
It absolutely is, and it's. I'm assuming he designed. I definitely know that he put all this stuff together. I
Oh,
don't know
he did it all.
How deep did Fun Bobby? But he made a great video for us to watch too, showcasing this thing. Fun Bobby's too talented.
He does
He's
3D.
so talented.
He does 3D modeling. I know our characters are fully 3D modeled.
Yes.
I don't know where he got the cabinets. Probably, there's probably some standard stuff out there, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
The arrangement,
Doesn't
the
matter.
printing of this thing, solid as a rock. The hands didn't break off. I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed at how good this is because I wish I had his talent and skill.
I'm inspired, and boy, what a great way to showcase my SP. Did you show? I don't think you showed him this part though. This is one of the coolest parts when you can so much thought and design went into this between where you can reach the buttons, the charging cable, everything is accessible, the cards,
yeah.
and I like folding down my face on mine, and it gets a little more compact.
Oh yeah, you
just-
totally can do that. Take it down, perfectly sized for that. Open it up, whatever you want to do. Look how easy it slides out. Schling. That simple.
Schling,
Like-
but secure.
But secure.
But
It's like
easy
a
to
nice
remove.
machine, almost like machine. What do you call that?
Machined.
No. Wait, like
No?
when you have like a metal rod that fits exactly right in a metal hole. It's called
Showing.
machine precision machined.
Precision machining, maybe. What's the word you're looking for?
I don't know.
It's a thing of beauty, is what we'll call it. And I complain every day about things that I just don't understand how they're designed and engineered so poorly. And then I got this, and it put my faith back in humanity's ability to engineer something and do it well.
Yeah, Bobby, you saved us
have you
all.
ever tried to get any medicine out of a blister pack? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, are you kidding me? There's no way somebody designed this.
They're making it hard so
To be
kids can't
usable.
do that stuff, though, right? Isn't that the deal with the blister packs?
I guess so, but it's like if I have to go get a knife
yeah.
to dig the pill out,
Ain't
Your-
nobody wants
your
that.
your
Yeah.
release is not working.
No, nobody
not
wants.
working.
Nobody likes that.
No.
Nobody wants that. This we do want, and don't go
Yes.
begging this guy for these because they're exclusive to us. This particular deal. Well, I don't know. Maybe he'll want to do some for people and charge for it. I don't know. I don't want to speak for
so
Bobby.
look at that. Robert is in the Fun Bobby is in the chat room over on YouTube. Says it's all custom design from the ground up. Just wanted to show some love to you guys, and we feel loved.
Well, Robert,
loved.
or Fun Bobby, as we like to call you,
Fun Bobby.
you rule, dude. And,
Totally.
I have some ideas now I want to talk to him about because he's so good. I wish I could do
He's
this
so
stuff.
good. That's the danger of being good at something.
Yeah. I can't 3D model jack. I can draw stuff on, I can draw. I can do the old fashioned 2D job. But the minute you want to go 3D, don't come to me.
2D.
Don't come to me.
Don't come to me. I'm no 2D.
That's right. Well, anyway, that was awesome. Thank you for that. One other final note. I took this thing with me, the SP, although this didn't all arrive until today, or I guess yesterday, but we picked it up today. And so while I was out there, I just had the naked SP, and I'm out there by the pool and various places. And two separate little kids came up to me and asked me where I got it and if they could get one somewhere. And I
Sure
said, well, first of all, where are your parents? I don't want this to be weird.
Right. Sure. I have him right in my panel van. Come over with me.
I come over to this white van with no plates on it. So I said, in one case, I found the kid's dad, and I just said, hey, it's just on Amazon. Search for this. It's cheap, relatively cheap. It's got pretty much everything you're going to need. Go for it. And he was thrilled. He was like, oh, this is so much cheaper than like a Switch or something. I'm like, yeah, it is. Anyway, it was really fun to see that, and I enjoyed my device while I was out. Brian, what'd you get up to besides this?
No one saw my device. I kept mostly by my bedside. The only one asked me about my device was my cat. And I don't know what he was saying, but I did do that. I also ended up soft modding my OG Xbox, and I did it before I received my Tony Hawk 4 Pro Skater, which is how I was going to do it. Because we talked about that previously. That you do the soft mod, you get the save exploit, right? You had the save memory exploit. You don't need it anymore currently with the way it works. So I went ahead and modded it this past weekend, I believe, or was the weekend before that? I think it was the weekend before that because I was going to talk about it on the show. Anyway, I've been doing that. I've had a little bit of trouble finding a good adapter that will output properly because I don't want one that's going to upscale and make it dirty because the Xbox is capable of outputting to 480p, 720p, and 1080i. So those are already decent resolutions, and if I can just get one to work right. But I got a Keiko. It's a K-A-I-Co C-O. Is that how you say it? Keiko?
Keiko. It's
Keiko?
what's his name's wife on Star Trek? Keiko. Keiko, get in
You
here.
nailed it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I got the adapter for that. It works better than the Hyperkin I had ordered previously, but it's still kind of iffy. And some people have said, well, it may be the power coming to there could be some capacitors and stuff, but this is supposed to have been recapped and everything. I don't know. I got to get my multimeter out and test. But anyway, point is, soft modded, playing it. It's amazing. If you've never, oh my gosh, Scott, it's come so far. Me and you soft modded our Xboxes back in the day, but it was just mostly for the Xbox Media Center stuff, and you could play some burn games and that kind of stuff. And man, it is leagues above that now because now you can reconnect to live. Because there's servers out there that you have to point your little IP addresses to, and you can play online, play some Halo online multiplayer.
Yeah.
Want to play some, Scott?
I would.
Let's go.
Sure. Sign me up. Put it in my veins.
Put it in my veins. Let's play some multiplayer.
That's pretty great, though. I was curious because back in the day when Brian and I first met, he was in the middle of being super hacky with his original Xbox, which at that point was only 4 years old or something.
Yeah, still fairly, and, still there.
Yeah.
Old enough that I felt comfortable hacking it.
Yeah, here we are.
Yeah,
20 years later.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
That's about right.
2000. Yeah, late 04, early 05. Yeah, so we're at the 20. Yeah, we're at the 20-year anniversary of our relationship.
Yeah. We should celebrate. What we gonna do?
Pinky promise. I don't know.
Pinky promise. I think 20 years is the Xbox anniversary. I think that's so you got to get me an Xbox. I think that's.
Oh, is that the rule? Okay.
I think year one is paper. Year two is bubble gum.
I think Fun Bobby will make you some kind of resin. He'll make you a resin Xbox. How about that? That'll solve all your problems.
You must have used a whole bottle of resin on this thing, by the way. Thank you very much.
It is a lot. Yeah, that's the other thing is I feel like I got something for free that I shouldn't have gotten for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I should pay for this.
There's going to be a price.
Oh, I didn't even notice this. Did you notice on the tips? We got a PR down there on the tips of the things.
I did notice that on the bottom of the things because at first I was like, "Is that left and right?" And I said, "No, that's PNR."
I had no idea. It's so cool,
and it's done in our font.
Yep, it's our font. Well, it's a font I use. I wouldn't call it our font.
The logo. It's the font that we use.
But like you said, all the underneath stuff, like the headphone jack and the SD card slot or micro SD rather, those two slots are exposed here. But also on the sides, you have your volume buttons are nicely inset, and you have your other side, which is your power and your I forgot what the other button is. What is that? It's
a reset, button? Power, rebut, volume. What else is there?
It must be a reset. I've never used that button yet. Oh, anyway, the point is...
That's my favorite button.
I keep going back to this because it's so awesome. We were busy this week. I was out of town. That's why this show's tonight. Sorry, everybody, for the weird timing, but I appreciate everyone's patience. Let's dive into our topic this week.
Shall we play a game?
Indeed, we shall. We are going to talk about Gradius, not Gradius. Sounds.
But
you call it whatever you want.
Gradius.
Call it whatever you
call
want.
It Gradius.
Right. We're not going to judge. You guys are. You be you. We're not going to be pissed.
Right.
But this game,
I will tell you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I will tell you a couple of things. So every week we always pick certain games we want to do, and we always have a bunch of suggestions of how we want to attack, how we should attack it, and everything. And so prepare yourselves. We're going with Gradius at the arcade 1 through 4. That's the mainline stuff. we're not going to get to a lot of the spinoffs and things, but we're going to have an episode on that. So don't get too upset if we don't cover your favorite, spinoff or side story of Gradius.
Exactly. We're going old school because you know that by listening to this.
Mhm.
That is the original arcade edition of the game, and this just sings in my head. I mean, there's like a machine. I feel like I can see the machine. It's just saying, "Hey, Scott, you want to put a quarter or two inside me?
Put a quarter in me.
Come put a quarter in me because I'm a fun little shooter game." And it's right. The game is correct in saying that. Basically, it's a series of shooter games. These were introduced way, way back in 1985. We are going way back. Developed and published by Konami for a variety of portable console and arcade platforms. The arcade is where things really kicked off. There's a lot of games in the series. The ship in them is known as the Vic Viper.
Yeah,
that's the stupidest name in the history of anything.
It's got a story. So Vic Viper is it's a victory, and it is a viper because it snakes around the screen. Right now, later on, one of the developers in an interview said, "Okay, so yes, we did kind of. It was inspired by a particular movie back in the day, a TV movie specifically, probably Battlestar Galactica." If I had to guess, because there was a Viper there.
Yeah, he's a Viper. He's called a Viper. It looks like a Battlestar Galactica Viper. And let's admit that a few of these disc-shaped Cylon ass-looking things look like Cylon. Yeah. So I have no problem with that. That's fine. What was the other one that looked like aliens that we covered? Was that not Scramble? They look like actual, like from the movie Alien, and you had to fight them. But it was in another side-scroller like this. Why can I remember what we talked about? Anyway.
Oh, I don't know. That's a good way. But you did say Scramble, and that's important because Scramble is what this game was originally going to be. Scramble 2, not Super Cobra. So if you follow Konami and their shoot 'em ups, it started with Scramble, which is a side-scrolling shooter that has bomb drops, but it's got like this old school looking ship, but it kind of goes over these terrains and stuff, similar to what we're seeing here. And then they did Super Cobra, which is not Choplifter, but also a side-scrolling helicopter game, basically the same engine. But this was supposed to be Scramble 2, so it's taking it to the next level because Namco was competing against these guys with a very popular game called Xevious. Maybe you're thinking of Xevious?
Xevious is what I'm thinking of. That's it.
All right.
They remind me. They remind me a lot of each other. In fact, they would often be next to each other, and they would often get both my quarters. The 50 cents that I brought there that day, I would put in those machines.
Which would be to play.
Yeah. I mean, look, these games were all the rage back then. My biggest complaint about Gradius, sorry,
right,
is that it is immediately accessible as soon as you start it. All right, so I want you to just picture yourself. You're in the arcade, you put a quarter in, you hear this, and you're like, "That's pleasant. That's nice. What are we going to do here?" And then you see, oh, they're going to throw these really simple to kill discs at me in a couple of waves. No big deal. If I'm smart enough to just have a little bit of hand-eye coordination, I can take these things down, no problem. And then it immediately sticks you into the fiery dragon sun, and it gets really hard really quick. This game is, I wouldn't call it a pure shmup because it's not quite the same. It's got shmup adjacent qualities, like a lot of shit on screen at once, you trying to dodge either structures or other ships or whatever it is, and try to shoot stuff and not get hit. It gets hairy really, really quick. And I think the best balance of the hairy to enjoyment is 3. The hairy to enjoyment ratio, Brian, is in 3.
I'm not going to spoil mine just yet, but I'm going to say this first one is a really solid starter. And like you said, it is a shmup, but maybe not the typical shmup that we think of when we play.
And when you say shmup, you mean shmup, right? With an H?
Yeah, shmup.
Yeah.
Shmup.
Is that better?
Shmup. But that ruins the whole thing. If I'm saying it slowly, I might as well just say shoot 'em up. So if I gotta pronounce everything in there, that's just
you know what? That's a good point. I'm gonna go. I take back. I want to call them Smups now. It's Smup from now on. Shmup.
Yep. So anyway, here instead of like your regular shut up, instead of collecting power ups that are shaped like things, like a lot of the shoot 'em ups, you know what you're getting because there's a little floating gun or something in the air, and you cross over top of it, and it's an upgrade for the gun. This one introduced like a currency of that you collected. So when you would destroy the Gradius bad guys, certain ones of them, they would leave behind a little energy cell, and you pick that energy cell up, and then you could use that to upgrade your ship quickly through a simple button. This at the arcade was a joystick in 3 buttons, and one of those buttons was once you've collected X number of energy cells, you can hit the button and it'll activate whatever's highlighted, and it starts from 1 through I think 6. Is that how many you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think something like that. Anyway, the first power up is a speed up, which is what you want to use immediately. I didn't understand it. I watched the demo like at the attract screen.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so that's what you do. And so the first thing you want to do is you want to grab that first one, hit it for a speed up so that you can start moving around, because if you don't, like Scott says, it's really easy to start.
Oh yeah.
And you're moving slow so you don't feel like you're in a big hurry or anything.
And I don't like the speed up either, because it's too fast, I think.
Because because then you increase your probability of accidentally running into something, because that's how you die in this game.
It's very twitchy. Very twitchy.
And so it ramps up a difficulty really quick. They lull you into this sense of, oh, here come a couple of flying discs. If I shoot all of them this in the row, then I'll get an energy, and then I can speed up a little bit, and then quickly from there it gets really fast and crazy.
Yep.
And at first, I didn't make it very far, but by the time I got through, I was making it really far. And once I learned that there was a version of all 4 of these arcades games for the PSP, and it had the options to make it easier and more enjoyable, man, I really started getting all the way down to the boss parades.
When I had the PSP, do you know what I called it for short? I did. I called it a pss, pss.
Hand me the pss.
I'd say to my wife, I'm like, Kim, where's my pss? And she'd be like, quick, don't call it that.
Oh God, I bet she hated that.
She did. She didn't like it.
She did.
Not a fan.
She had to hate it.
Hey, did you like these? You like these Easter Island heads you have to kill at some point?
Oh, the Moas.
Yeah.
The Easter flying Easter.
It's
so
dumb.
Man, if
it's
you're an
so
American,
weird. It's just a weird choice. Like, hey, what if these were out here? Like, it's very weird.
The whole game is weird because you're defending a planet called Gradius, right?
Yeah.
And,
not Gradius. Not to be confused with Gradius.
Not Gradius.
No.
Totally different place.
Yeah.
That's over by Battlestar Galactica land. So here, that's got that, and you got the Bacterians, and you're like, oh, that kind of sounds like bacteria. Yeah, it's meant to, because that's what you're basically fighting against, is like these bacterias. And spoiler, if you've never played the first one, the final boss is a big giant space brain. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's what you
space
do.
Brain.
Yeah, I don't know what it was going on. There was something in the water in Japan in the 80s where they were like, what if the final boss is a giant brain floating in space?
Right.
That happened a lot. It wasn't just this game.
This game, it really was. This game, at Konami, I've read some articles and a bunch of interviews with content creators from that era.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a pressure cooker, because they were going against Capcom, trying to compete against Xevious, and they needed to get something out really quickly. I think they developed this in 6 months. And there's even a thing that when you're looking at the power-up bar, when you're going down and you're like, oh, I'm going to do speed up, then I'm going to do missiles, and I'm going to do multiple shots, and then I'm going to do, what is this, a question mark? That was supposed to be several different things, but it ended up just being shield because they ran out of time. So the story they created, which they kind of all got together and brainstormed, and they come up with this idea, and they just didn't try to put some gameplay in there and made some really good gameplay, because it's basically Scramble, which was already a success.
Yeah, Scramble was already good. I like Scramble.
Yeah, it was already doing great.
You know what I liked about Scramble? Scramble had a chunkiness to it, everything seemed thick.
Yeah,
I can't explain it. Like, it was just like a lot of these shooters feel a little flimsy and spindly, and like you're just jerking all over the screen. Scramble had kind of a more methodic, slower pace to it, and I'm sure one day we'll talk Scramble, but
it did, and
was
it
cool.
was of that era where you would kind of you weren't moving nearly as fast, and there weren't a bunch of power-ups or anything. You were just trying to coordinate two activities at once, which is shooting forward and dropping bombs. And they brought that over to this game, and they brought the most important part. We haven't talked about it yet, but this is the thing that makes this really stand out. Maybe as a first timer, I'm not really sure. Xevious, I'm trying to remember how it played this, but there's something called options or multipliers, and basically it's like you said, it's like that little floating red dot that floats around you, and if you get enough, I think it's 5 of the energy cells, you can then activate an option. You can activate up to 3, I think.
Yeah, three total, I think, is where you max it out.
Those multiply your shots and stuff, and they also kind of give you a little bit of a shield because they're knocking things out. So it's a really cool thing. And when you're playing, you get kind of in this groove and addiction that you're like, oh, I'm so badass, I'm taking everything out on the screen. And then you mess up and you actually run into something.
Well, the game definitely has that. I don't even know what you call that. I guess you can call it a groove, or you get into a groove and you feel it. It's like, I'm good. I'm in the zone. That's what I'm looking for.
I'm in the zone.
Yeah. And the zone.
So there's actually a term that Gradius fans came up with called Gradius syndrome. It refers to a phenomenon where the game becomes significantly harder. The player loses all their power-ups after dying, because this is a progressive game. So you don't just like start all the way back from the beginning where it was easy. You continue where you were fighting hard things, but now instead of being a badass with 3 options, you're just a Vic Viper with a little laser or a little shooter going pew 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 pew.
There should be a guy in the ship named Vic Viper, but isn't it just the ship called Vic Viper? It's really dumb.
Yeah, the ship is called Vic Viper. Oh, you think that one's bad? Wait till we get to 2 and we start, or the in between. We start talking about Lord British.
Yeah, there's some weird shit. It gets weird, guys. I also like it's kind of just bears mentioning, but the missile thing, which in most of these games, including something like Scramble, were just missiles would drop at a certain rate while you were firing your regular gun. Same thing happens here. Your option dudes also fire them. But what's cool about this one is they don't just land on impact, and they also have a little bit of a homing mechanism. So if they, I don't know how they're doing it or what they choose to follow it, but they will do a little bit of homing. It's not a lot, but a little bit. And if they miss entirely and you're in a zone that has a floor, like a bottom, they will go up hills, down hills, across the floors, and then smash into stuff downstream. And that's awesome. I love that.
So satisfying.
Yeah.
Everything about shoot 'em ups to me is, like you said, you get into a zone and it's all satisfying because they travel the floor on their own like smart missiles. Yeah. It's so cool. But I do hate one thing.
What's that?
And you showed it on the screen a few seconds ago.
Yeah.
I hate that stupid front-facing shield.
Oh, it's the worst. So no, it's the worst. It looks like a couple of wadded up boogers. It's dumb.
Yeah, it messes up my whole Vic Viper thing. I'm like, hey, I got this really cool forked looking spaceship, and you're messing it up with these glowy snot balls, like Scott said.
Plus, the original arcade game suffers from some serious flicker. It's like NES level of flicker and slowdown.
I was curious about that. There is some slowdown. I wasn't sure if this person was actually playing the arcade, which it does say. It can't be one player.
That's what I played.
Players.
That's what I played, and it was slow.
Yes,
in parts. I shouldn't say entirely, but there were parts where I would run into tons of clipping and flickering, and they would try to compensate so that it would not be slowed down. But then if there was enough on screen, you'd lose 20 frames or 30 frames sometimes.
Yeah. Now you would have probably played Nemesis in the U.S. because that's what we called it.
Did we call
Nemesis?
It? Really? I thought it was just always.
Now, we've talked about this in the past. Scott had the inside arcade leg, so he might have been playing some imports. But if I read my history right this past week, it was released as Nemesis in North America, I believe.
Wow.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's based on Star Trek Nemesis, starring a young Tom Hardy.
That'd be before then.
That'd be way before then, like a good 20 years before then. I think. Anyway,
there's a little thing that happened in between 1 and 2, and we're going to talk about that at length later because that is its own little spin-off thing, and that's Salamander in Europe, and then Life Force in the US, and then Life Force again in Japan after it was successful. But it's pretty much between 1 and 2, and it released to the arcades as well, and it's its own thing. There's the same. It's in the same universe, but it's really its own thing. It's still a shoot 'em up. There's enough differences there. I don't want to cloud it up too much.
Lots of similarities though. Like there was no question to me that this was essentially the same game. One thing that is interesting is you can
Viper,
select
all that stuff.
You can select your own power meter stuff. In 2, right?
Yeah.
And 2, that alone makes 2, I think, a better game. 3 also incorporates this, but 2, I think, is just a better game. But the biggest reason I like 2, or why I think this is an advancement, despite all the weird behind the scenes weirdness, was that this just felt smoother, less creaky, less flickery, less slowdowny. This is a better game than the first game, but it's essentially the first game again. It's not really that different. In fact, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, here it is. Check it out, chat. Brian will see it in a second, but here comes the sun with a million dragons.
Here comes the sun.
This is such a pain in the ass. I hate this. I hate it.
I actually really like it. So we've got sun dragons coming out at us on this second one here. And of course, you got some upgrades. Hopefully you get your lasers. They give you a little more time to build up here. So hopefully by the time you get to this second phase of the wave, you have some options floating around you, and it can be tight because you're flying through essentially in between these. It's almost maze like, and the fact that the dragons are coming out and they're kind of swooping around, they can circle around you and get you into a tight spot. And but I like this one a whole lot, especially because the music, first of all, got me right in, because this
destroy them all.
Destroy them
That's
all.
right.
Get them all. Destroy them.
We didn't get any voice work in the first one. The second one, we get a little bit of destroy them all. And this time we got, I've never been able to pronounce this correctly, but as was the case at several of these studios, Konami had their own built, their own internal, music people. And this was Kukiha Club. I know I didn't get that right.
I'm sure you didn't. You think Gradius and Gradius were hard. Tried doing that.
You thought that was, I just butchered that. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Somebody call the CSI. I've got a dead club over here. Anyway, I thought this sounded much more serious, had a more serious tone. Like the first one, it still felt a little bit playful, and I didn't feel like that really matched necessarily with the theme of the game. This seems to match better for me.
Yeah, it's a huge improvement, no question. And the sprite work is amazing. Look at this bird. This bird is so badass. People at home can't see it. Give yourselves a chance to, at least on YouTube or something, go look at the first boss in Gradius 2, and it's this big giant looking bird made out of fire.
It's a phoenix, right?
Yeah, I guess I don't know if he's really, but you blow his head off. Oh, there, you just did it, and then it explodes. It's fantastic. Fantastic looking stuff.
Giant flaming fire-filled phoenix space bird, man.
But it is hard, awesome. And I just want to point that out. Like as soon as you hit those planets with the fiery sun phoenixes, just you're gonna want to die. They're really hard.
Yeah, they're really hard.
Yeah.
But this one, so they did a couple of things here. They came back. They used the same startup formula where you kind of get a little bit of a lull at the beginning. But this one really ramps up the difficulty a lot, but you get your power-ups a lot quicker. And as a result, you're fighting giant space birds within like the first 30, 45 seconds.
Yeah. If
so,
that, it's
you're
very
already
quick.
hitting boss. Yeah, you're already hitting boss levels, which this one focuses more on those kind of things. And I think this is the first one they really quote the phrase or the term boss parade, where it's like you've got boss after boss after boss, which is cool in concept as long as you're able to not die in that first boss fight, because if you die in the first one, then it just cascades down, because you're never going to be able to defeat the subsequent bosses and get the power-ups you need. Because
it reminds me, it's like Souls-likes. It's just nothing but even trash are boss fights. Like
Yeah.
It's not the same interface, obviously, but this is an early example of like a little bit of trash. How about another boss? A little bit of trash. Ooh, there's another boss. Like you're always dealing with bosses, all the time.
There's so many sticking giant, but that's what's fun about this game are these larger than life bosses that are just, you're in your little Vic Viper and, the bosses take up at least half of the screen. And so it feels really intimidating, but it also feels very satisfying when you're able to laser a bird right out of space.
Yeah.
Right out of space.
Plus,
Take
look at
that,
this.
you punk.
This thing is so like, who's the alien designer?
Oh, Aliens, Geiger. Oh,
Geiger,
we're
Giger,
totally in
whatever.
Yeah, Giger.
Giger.
Like, we couldn't even do Gradius. How are we going to get Giger?
I only know Giger because I just watched that
documentary.
Jordanovsky's Dune thing, and he's talking all the time.
Yeah.
They're always saying it, so I got used to it. But yeah, my whole life I said Giger or Geiger. That's what I would say.
Geiger. So now we're fighting. We fought a giant brain last time. This time we're fighting a giant ball as one of our first bosses we got to fight. This one took on some shades of Life Force. Life Force was a lot more organic.
Yeah.
And so they started going back to the tentacles and the organic stuff in this one because they saw the success of the of that side story essentially.
Yeah.
That came along.
And this one just plays better. It's faster, smoother. I played this on a gamepad, so I can't speak to the stick and stuff. But
the stick and stuff.
I don't think I played it in arcades. Well, partly because it was not really here, right? Like it was sort of here.
Yeah,
but
we didn't. So these are the arcade games, and usually we just stick to arcade games in the U.S. But this one had so many ports that you probably had access to the arcade perfect versions of these things. You could have played Gradius 2 in 1996 in the Gradius Deluxe pack for the PlayStation. And I mean, it's pretty much just a conversion. I mean, it's not like some of the, some of the ports and stuff that early on, especially for the NES and different ones were, seriously pared down. I almost don't even recognize it as what the arcade was. But these were pretty arcade perfect. Sega Saturn, Microsoft Windows, they all had the Gradius Deluxe pack well within the, our retro range. So you definitely could have had access to what was essentially the arcade game. And maybe you got to play at some arcade with some imports and stuff. But we never saw an official arcade release here in the US for this one.
Yeah, this has got some South Park style animated ice blocks going on.
Yeah, we got some we're hitting some asteroids level stuff here where a lot more variety in the gameplay in this one because now we've got things that break apart and create
that move.
You can't just have you can't just have some kind of pattern like you did in the first one where it's like if I get good enough I can execute a pattern in the first one.
And there may be some predictability here, but it does make the game more replayable if you're into this sort of thing. Even though I think the ice stuff kind of sucks.
It's pretty ugly and very much looks like 1988.
Right? Oh hell yeah!
But it's okay.
There's nothing about this that screams modern side-scrolling shooter or shmup 'em ups, right?
Shmup 'em up, shmup 'em pants.
It's a good game though. I agree with you. Here's the thing though. Let's jump to 3 where things really kick off. All right.
Beat up.
Ooh, real voice work.
Beat up.
It's got like almost vocals in the background. Weird. This game, like the previous games, difficult, has its moments of like hair ripping difficulty. However, this is the funnest one. I like this one. Well, for me it is. I think this one has the most interesting variety. I think the graphics are cool. I think that overall just the kind of vibe that this game is supposed to be is interesting. And also the enemies are weird as shit. And I love that.
Oh, yes. So no longer are we dealing with just space dragons. This time, like right after our first little, build up, there's a little build up area where there's really nothing to really hit you except for some incoming ships. Then you get into the second phase, which is usually like almost like a maze where you'll have like environment that you kind of have to avoid. And this one starts off in like a desert type of theme. And you've got these really badass lions, right?
Yeah,
tigers,
sand lions and sand dragons.
Sand lions.
Yeah, they come out. They come leaping out of the sand, and they form into little lion shapes. And then there's also those same. They look like the planet or the sun dragons a little bit, but they're just made out of sand.
Yes.
And it's also pretty rude in here. It's rude. It's hard.
It's hard.
The
It's
game
so
is
hard.
the game is rude, man. It's like it doesn't take any prisoners. It wants to kick your ass, and I don't know. I think the fact that I could play it on essentially repeat without ever having to put another quarter in it, that made things easier this time out. But in the arcade, I would have been frustrated to hell. This would have driven me probably kind of crazy.
Oh, you would have definitely thrown something, because a lot of people I heard from this week let us know that this was the one they played the most of, because they got it on their Super Nintendo, they got it on the SNES.
Yeah,
and the port's pretty decent. It's not a bad port. It's pretty good. But I played the one from the arcade on the PSP, and it is really difficult. There's a lot of stuff going on screen, and your ships, because of how the environment is around it, I thought, well, the ship seems a little bigger this time around. I didn't actually measure it, but I think I got confirmation that it is, because there is a reduction. So, we've been doing power-ups and things using our little built-in energy cell economy, and now you can do something called reduce. It's a defense power-up that shrinks the Vic Viper, so you're a smaller target to hit.
Right. You can get through tinier little sections, and there's like this whole bubble area here we're showing right now. For people at home, it's like a bunch of bubbles. It's a nightmare. I mean, look at this.
It's a nightmare because because everything before has been flying at you at one rate of speed,
right?
And now you floaty bubbles, and you're more likely to run into them after you've chosen a bunch of speed ups, and that's where this comes into place too. I think there's also there's a new thing. So we talked about before with the question mark, and that's the shield. Now there's an exclamation mark, and what I believe that can do as well is slow your ship back down. I didn't get that far. I just read that, and if I read it correctly, that's what you do, because once you get this bubble area, you're going to need that, because you're flying around like a maniac, and now you got to slow it down.
Yeah,
take that pace a little bit.
Yeah, you got to slow. I agree with you. You got to be a little bit more on your toes here,
or less,
or less,
flat-footed.
Maybe a little flat-footed. That's a good way of putting it. Sure. But it's fun. I also like that this is the SNES version we're looking at here in the video.
Slow down.
It's got some slowdown, but it's a good port overall. I think it's strong.
Oh yeah.
And that's, I think why you saw a lot of people play it. I think at the time it was reviewed well. People were into it, and a lot of copies sold on the
it's
Super
smart.
Nintendo.
Now, I noticed some of the things about some of the versions of this.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're getting away with some things sometimes, because that's what it felt like to me. That was the only ding I had on this one, is it felt like I was getting away with my hitbox. I'm like, oh, I definitely should have been destroyed there. And I'm like, but I didn't get destroyed. Why didn't I? What happened? Did did the hitbox move a little bit, and I wasn't quite big enough a target or something? I felt like that was a little bit off, but you're right. This is probably the best one, even though I kind of leaned, as I played more of this week, I kind of leaned back towards 2 just a little bit. I think 2 may be my favorite, but that could change at any moment.
That's totally fine. I think that they're adjacent, and I like them both for different reasons, but I think you're not wrong to question whether when one is better at any given time than another. I kind of go back and forth too, but ultimately for me, 3 is the winner. 4, on the other hand, is the devil's anus. I hate 4 so much.
4 should have never existed. 3 was Konami's and the development team's effort to say, this is the finale. We're making a 3-part game. This is the finale. And we just couldn't let it die. And so in 1999, what's that, almost 10 years later, they brought back Gradius. After all the ports, a whole lot of ports happened between that second and third one, and a bunch of ports to game systems, consoles, and even their own sequels and things that kind of spread out in their own area. There was a series called Paradis, which was kind of a parody of Gradius. And but 3 was supposed to be the end, and they drug Gradius's dead, limp brain body back out and said, let's try to revisit what 1 was, but let's do it in a modern way.
Well, here's what they did.
Good luck to you.
Good luck to you is true.
Good luck, you'll need it.
Here's the thing. So it's not that the basics of this couldn't be good. It's that
Right.
we are on the cusp of the 3D switchover, right? Everyone's kind of struggling. Sony struggled with it. Nintendo struggled with it. Nobody was sure what the future was, how to make cameras work, how to use 3D with 2D, these sorts of things, right? This game, at first, is fine. Shooting discs like usual. Now look at this Lawnmower Man bullshit coming at him. Look at this thing. It's like, why don't we take one of the most iconic things in the previous 2 games, a big fiery sun full of dragons, and let's have it look like 3D Studio Max 2.0 came and took a dump on your porch. And that's what this is.
Yeah.
And I hate it. I hate how it looks.
Yeah,
I don't like how it feels. I hate it. It's not.
Yeah,
good.
they tried to make it more procedural by, so we're 2D still in the fact that we're, looking at a 2D plane essentially. But I think these aren't sprites in some cases. I could be wrong. I didn't get a chance to research this deep. But the dragons definitely look 3D because they look like they're morphing, right? It's not like they're pre-rendered, I don't think. I think they're being real-time rendered. Am I wrong? That's what it looks like.
They are real-time rendered, absolutely. This is not pre-rendered stuff. So as far as I don't know their reactions to you, I don't know if that's dynamic or not.
Right.
But them coming out and being rendered in real time, that is definitely happening. I guess that's true of 2D too, but they just tried to mix the two, and to me it ended up being lesser because of it. You could do this now and really blow our minds. Oh, see, look at this thing, the space ribbon of dragons. Ugh, gosh, dang it, dude. And then look at it. Look what they tried to do, texture it up. Look at that thing. If you saw that in your toilet, you'd call the government. Look at that
call
thing.
the government. I would love. Oh, see, yeah. Hey, is this the government? I think I have a thing.
I think I got a 3-headed nightmare in my toilet. I just don't think it's a good game, and I also just don't think the shooting, the thing that's supposed to be the best part of this, I don't think feels that great. I think it's okay at best, and it doesn't feel as smooth or as good as the previous games. That's my hot take on 4.
I had the least amount of time with this one. And I did like the morphing bosses. You probably showed just a few seconds ago, but I really liked how that was working. I felt overall it felt pretty decent, but there are a lot of inconsistencies here because it was supposed to be a return to what made the first one great. And if you play them all in 1 week, you don't miss the first one enough to go, I need a 4th one. So it's just, if you got one already, if you already got the PSP collection and you just want to be a completionist, play this one for sure. But there's moments of goodness in this one.
Just not greatness. There's moments of goodness, not greatness. It didn't to me, there was, at the end of it, I was like, well, why did we have the 3D elements? This would have been fine as just a rapid fire 2D shooter. And all those consoles, especially PlayStation competitors anyway, had really good sprite rendering. So something like the Saturn, or I don't know. I guess even
PS2 was doing very well. You could have played this on. Matter of fact, if you played it in America, you probably played it on the Gradius 3 and 4 collection on the PS2, or maybe did like we did from 2006 and played the PlayStation Portable version, which by far and away, if you're going to play this, if you can get your hands on the PSP Gradius arcade versions, this is the best way to play. It also comes with the Gaiden, which is the side story. It is so good, and it gives you so many quality of life improvements with being able to, just like in the heart in the mind of this whole series, is to give you some kind of ability to customize and kind of play the way you want to play. That whole system of setup does that. It allows you to choose options to make it easier, and to do continues, to do auto upgrades, so it makes the smartest choices of your energy cell collection. So it'll go, what you should do with this one is do a speed up right here first, and then you should do this and this and this, and so you can turn all that on, and it makes it so enjoyable. And I got so much further playing like that and getting a really good chance to see all the amazing artwork and design they have in this game, which is probably one of the best parts of this game, is the crazy ass character designs. I love it.
No, the character designs are great. It's this weird pseudo 3D, ugly, flat, rainbow colored bullshit. I don't know what else to call it. I hate
but the
that
tentacles
look.
are here.
The tentacles are fine. I like good tentacles here and there.
I like good tentacle.
I do like a good tentacle when it's appropriate. But this one's just this reliance on, hey, let's have a little bit of 3D with a little bit of 2D. Meh. Now, we weren't good at this yet. I'm not even blaming them. Time wasn't right.
No. Yeah.
In fact, if anything, I should admire them for trying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Good job. Good job trying. You tried real well, Konami.
Yeah, good try, guys. You did a big try.
Konami.
Oh, okay. Oh, Konami. Sorry.
You get a Konami.
Yeah, that guy almost sounds mad when he says it. Listen.
Konami.
Really does.
Konami.
But I can't wait to get back to Salamander, and aka Life Force, because that's a huge story in itself. We get to go back and fight more Bacterians, but this time inside of a human body. Get to see the Paradis, which probably ran just as long, and just a really weird, if you can believe it, even weirder than Gradius.
Yeah,
Can you believe that?
If I remember right, Life Force goes real hard in the fire motif. Oh, here it is now. Here's some video from it.
Oh, here it is now.
Lots of fire, as if the world, everything is fire except Vic Viper, and that ship has to figure out.
Lord Bridges, time for some 2-player action.
So weird.
Lord
dude.
Bridges, get in here.
Why do you think they did that? Was it a deal with him, or do you think they were just what why? Why is Lord Bridges involved at all? What happened there?
I don't know, but I love it.
Do you think they just did it? Do you think they were just like admiring him from overseas, and they just said,
I think
that Ultimate guy, he's pretty cool.
We should do this.
He's going to the moon or whatever he did. Did he go to the moon? What did he do? I forgot.
What did he do?
I can't remember. Didn't he go to space with Virgin or somebody? He got up in space and did shit up there?
That's a good question. I think you're talking about that's a good question. I don't know what all the inspiration was for that. I got to find out. Yeah. I didn't get a chance to study that.
It's a weird one though. The Paradis series I never saw, so I can't speak to it, but Japanese only, right? That one? At the time?
I think, did it ever make it on any consoles and stuff? That's a great question. Shows 2 and 3 coming later. Salamander, Life Force, and then a Paradis. And maybe we'll hit all the little console stuff, like the NES version. The NES version of Gradius is one of the most important games of all time because it introduced us to the Konami code.
Oh, that's
true.
Where
the Konami code came from?
That's true.
That was when it came in.
Yeah, a lot of people think it was not Commando.
Contra.
Contra. It's not.
It is not. There's some bleed over between the two series, but
Definitely.
No. Hashimoto. So he was one of the key programmers for this game, and he did a little Konami code. He's like, oh, it's too hard for the NES. We need to make this easier. How about a up, up, down, down, left, right, BA.
Look at that big fat ship in this game. Paradis.
Oh, so juicy.
Yeah, now it's small again, but
look at that juicy bubble.
I don't know. This looks like the game I'd want to play. This looks wacko. There were
People
like
love it.
sumo wrestlers and stuff in diapers and stuff. I want to play that.
Yeah, people love it. People do.
Well,
love
all right, there. There's your look at Gradius. Sorry, Gradius. Now I don't remember now. Gradius.
Yeah, see, I told you. Doesn't matter what you call it now because you'll forget.
Oh, I've effed it up so completely in my head. Anyway, worth playing. Go check it out. You can emulate the hell out of it. You can find it in lots of places. And like Brian said, that PSP collection, probably the top collection to get. Yeah.
So good. It's arcade perfect.
Yeah.
It's just so delicious and tasty. Can't complain. And you get to choose between if you want to have it, in a larger view, if you want to do the real arcade aspect ratios, you can increase it to 7 lives. You can make it as easy you want. You could do easy. By the way, easy is not easy apparently, because the default setting is in the PlayStation is easy, which I compare to the original arcade ROMs. That's not easy. I had to go down one more level to be able to perform, if you know what I mean.
I like Lucky Phil's Glazizzle and Glazius. Those are great.
Those were my favorites. Glazizzle. I love it.
That's pretty good. All right. Well done, everybody. Let's move on to a game of our own making, our own manufacturing, called Guess Our Game.
Destroy it.
Yes, this is where we take audio from an old game and we try to stump each other as to what we think that audio might be. We take old systems and old games and we tell each other what the platform and the year was, and then 4 possible answers. One of us will pick the right one, one of us won't. Or maybe we both will, or maybe we both won't. I don't know. You're gonna have to find out the hard way.
Stay tuned.
See what happens. Let's go for it here. I'll start. Mine is a Nintendo 64 title.
Oh, a Nintendo 64 title. Now, they did some pretty good 3D, I hear.
They had their moments. There's still some problems, but they were working on it. And they came out of the gate better than Sony did. But
yeah,
they got, I would argue that once Sony got a DualShock and some better ideas, I think things turned their way. But anyway, the N64 in the year 1998, a big year for gaming in general, and also a big gaming year for the N64. That is all I'm going to tell you. Here is your audio. Let's see if you can figure it out. All right, that if you know what the game,
some sim speak. Yeah, wow, listen to that.
That would be a huge giveaway if you know what this game is, because that audio was nowhere else back then. Right. Here are your options, Brian. Ogre Battle 64, Person of the Lordly Caliber. All right, that's the full title.
That is a mouthful.
Space Station Silicon Valley.
Okay.
Dark Rift.
Okay.
Or D, Razor Freestyle Scooter. So again, your options are Ogre Battle 64, Person of Lordly Caliber, Space Station Silicon Valley, Dark Rift, or Razor Freestyle Scooter.
I do remember riding around on my Razor Freestyle Scooter and talking like that after I fell and scraped my knee.
A little brain damage on your knee. I get it.
Yeah. I really brained it.
Yeah.
I really brained it bad.
You sure did.
Okay, so Ogre Battle 64, Space Station Silicon Valley, and Dark Rift, and Razor Freestyle Scooter. It's definitely not D. Ogre Battle 64, man, I want it to be that. It kind of feels like that. It feels like, but I don't remember. I played Ogre Battle not that long ago, and I don't remember it being all that, but I might have the audio turned down. I'm not sure. Space Station Silicon Valley, no idea what the crap that is. Okay, so I'm going to either say A or C, and C only because I can't say give me the D this time because it's obviously not right.
Give me the D.
I feel like it's I'm gonna go with C just because it's the C. The C is the answer most of the time in multiple choice, even though I'm going with C. Dark Rift. Rift me some darkness.
Dark Rift. Is it Dark Rift? No.
Oh,
the answer,
Ogre Battle?
The anser is Space Station Silicon Valley. Yeah. Did you never play this game?
I don't remember this at all.
Are you not a fan of Space Station Silicon Valley?
Apparently not. I don't remember. Oh, wait a minute. No, I don't remember. Do I remember this?
I don't know. Do you?
Oh, this looks amazing.
It's pretty weird.
I've seen this before.
Getting some video.
Oh my gosh, this is great.
Yeah, so
that's not what I was seeing, but that's not what I was seeing in my head at all.
Yeah, it's a very weird.
It's a very weird game. Strategy guide for this. They have a strategy guide. All right.
It was actually an adaptation for the Game Boy Color game that was released in '99. So there was also a PlayStation port and some other stuff. But basically, let's see. I'll give you the basics of the story here. I played this once at a friend's house. Thought it was bad. Let's see. Development. Where is
that?
It?
Was the review?
That was your review? Thought it was bad. The reception overall was okay, generally favorable. Like Edge gave it an 8 out of 10. Remember Edge magazine? Do you remember that?
Yeah, but I mean but you got to admit,
look at that.
I don't know how the gameplay was. Yeah. The 3D graphics are horrible.
Oh, they're so bad, dude. They could not be worse. Yeah. That planet they just showed was a real shit show. Anyway, it was a third-person perspective. It was a 3D platformer. You controlled Evo, a robot who reduced to a crawling microchip during a ship crash and is losing energy at a steady rate without protection. In order to survive, players attack animals, which disables them and allows players to assume control of their bodies. So it's basically a little possession mechanic. And it's fine. It just looked like ass. Look at these textures. Holy shit.
So bad. I got to play this. I got to play it because it's terrible.
It looks so bad. It's just the ugliest game you'll play this year, but go for it.
It was a time when we didn't really know. You really couldn't do just yet. You couldn't do good shadows. You couldn't do good texturing. You couldn't do good lighting. It was just
Yeah, it was as bad as
a
it
South
gets.
Park game.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Second time.
It's a lot of snow in there. All right. Well, not done. Now let's go to mine. Brian, tell me my platform and my year.
Yeah. So I went with the NES from 1992. Kind of late in the life cycle, really, isn't it? I mean, 1992. That's kind of
92 is pretty late. Yeah. For an NES title. In fact, that was already getting sort of late for a Super NES title. Or not late, but like kind of midlife. I don't know.
Right.
It's weird.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's play your audio. See what we get. You ready?
I'm ready.
Here goes. It's pretty funky.
This is the NES doing everything it can do to play some audio for 1992.
Not bad. All right. Give me my options, please.
All right, here's your options. A through D are A, Spider-Man, Return of the Sinister Six. B, Toxic Crusaders. C, Double Dragon 2, The Revenge. D, Captain America and the Avengers.
Captain America and the Avengers. Spider-Man. So we got 2 Marvel properties. I don't think this is Spider-Man. I'm gonna say A is not it. So let's move to Toxic Crusaders. It's too funky for that. Not giving it that. I don't remember that game, even if there was one. Double Dragon 2, The Revenge, though. Not enough punching.
Not enough punching.
It makes me think
I really need a lot more. Maybe the person playing it wasn't punching very much.
I mean, it could be. So my only other option is Captain America and the Avengers. Are those shields getting thrown around? My gut says D. Captain America and the Avengers. I don't know for sure, but I'll say it. So that's the one I'm going to pick.
Scott says, give me the D. Scott, give yourself.
Oh, what is it?
Based on the 1991 cartoon Toxic Crusaders.
Oh,
remember,
shit!
Remember Trauma had the Toxic Avenger? Well, there was a cartoon in 1991 that had several of the characters, specifically the Toxic Crusader from Trauma Entertainment.
So that was based on those movies, the Toxic Avenger things?
Well, it was based on the cartoon. So yeah, the cartoons were based on the movies. So it kind of washed them down there. And then we washed them down some more for our arcade machines, for our video machines. Video game machines.
We're about to do that for FilmSack with RoboCop 3, which got a PG-13 rating, and they also had a cartoon right around that time. What a dumb time, dude! So dumb
time.
What were they thinking? What were you thinking? All right.
Did you know that you can still get the Toxic Crusaders? You can get it on the PS5, the Xbox Series.
What?
Switch.
Toxic
PC.
Crusaders. PS5. I just want to see this. I mean, is it just a port? It's like a...
Yeah, I think it's a support. I think it's probably going to be... Is it part of that Genesis collection, possibly?
Oh, maybe.
Because it's also in the Genesis, too.
Here you go, chat. Yeah, it looks like it's the original.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this was tied to that IP, to those movies and stuff. I had no idea.
Yes. I watched the cartoon. We'll have to watch the cartoon one day. It's not too bad. And the game's not bad either. Kind of reminds me like a Turtles game, right?
Yeah, it's like a Turtles game. Yeah, for sure. That looks all right.
Yeah.
Is this an updated one? I can't tell.
Oh, I do remember playing this. Actually, I did play this.
You did play this.
I'm talking about like I didn't play it, but I did play this one.
All right. I have not played that. All right. Well, shows what I know. Let's move on. We both lost terribly, so we have to do this now.
Oh, embarrassing.
It's time to talk about what's going on in the retro universe outside of all of this. Hey, Brian, what are we welcoming into the fold this time?
Hey, welcome in. You're 20 years on as of July the 23rd. Came out in 2004. Ancient Wars Sparta on the PC. It's a real-time strategy game set in ancient Greece, which seems about the same amount of years ago. Focused on the historical conflicts of Sparta.
Mm-hmm.
This is Sparta.
Yeah. How about we do a little, let's see.
We bring you Philco's little hobgoblin with eyes of blue and a pumpkin, too.
Well, that doesn't say welcome. Hold on. Where's here?
Relax. You don't have to be so stiff with us. Welcome aboard, Mr. Leader.
Okay, that'll work. Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to 20 years old. That's the standard, and we're sticking to it. Perhaps we'll get to you one day. I don't know. I don't
And you
know.
can get the definitive edition on Steam for just a few dollars, $20 for early access game.
Very nice.
It's the definitive edition.
Well, you always want that. Also, don't forget to what was I going to say? I forgot now. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Cha-cha-cha.
Because cha-cha-cha.
Welcome
It's time for
to
this.
the treasure room.
It's time for a bit of listener feedback. Our text number is 801-471-0462. Our email address is playretroshow@gmail.com. And this is an email from Adhesive Wombat. We like him. He's cool.
It's some of my favorite people.
Well, look, if you need to connect a wombat to a wall, I got a guy for you. He's adhesive.
Go to.
Anyway, it says, howdy, fellas. This is a question for Scott. I've been going back to listen to older episodes of Play Retro, and I've noticed that you often mention your love of Mario Golf for the Game Boy Color. I never played it, so I figured I'd give it a shot. How do you enjoy this? He says. He says,
Case.
this game is so frustrating. I'm worse at Mario Golf than I am at real golf in the meat space. Can you give me some tips on how to get good at Mario Golf? Thanks for the show, Adhesive Wombat. I mean, it's old, right? So that's part of it, is that you just weren't playing it back in the day when it was new. But I do think you can pretty quickly, especially in the campaign mode, kind of get the hang of what they're doing there and start to learn, like, well, if I overswing by this much, that translates to this much overswing in the world. Like, it's not always obvious where your shots are going to go. It is a little harder than your average golf game. But once you get the hang of it, that's part of what I loved about it. It was a little unwieldy. It was like a little wild where your shots would go. And I thought it was fun trying to hone that in. So I think you just got to stick with it, man. Stick with it.
Yeah. And it is kind of funny because I did do a search for his like Mario Golf tips.
Yeah.
And the first thing that comes up, surprise, is Reddit. And the first question is, how do you get better at Mario Golf? So you're not alone, Adhesive Wombat.
Nope.
Not alone.
I'm not surprised. Hold on. This ice went down funny. I'm okay now.
Wait, like a penguin?
No, I was drinking and a little piece of ice went down there and it
Right.
just kind of horked in my throat there, and that's been a good time.
But
anyway,
man, Super Rush seems to be the one everybody's talking about, though. Jeez, Mario Golf Super Rush.
Super Rush. Which one? Is that the Switch one?
It must be.
Hold on. Mario Golf Super. I think it is that one because you can do this running game. Yeah, it's a Switch game.
20 years. It debuted on the N64, but then it's been going. Okay. I was reading. Okay.
Original Golf? Yeah, that's true. Mario Golf 1, or the very first Mario Golf, was an N64 game and a Game Boy Color game. They were essentially the same games, sort of, structurally. One was obviously 3D, the other wasn't. They're still, I think, some of the best golf games ever made. They're tricky, so you just got to keep at them. Just keep poking away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's tricky to
rock around. Yeah, to rock around and rock on time, actually, is really hard.
Yeah.
It's tricky, you might say. Let's move on to this one. It's a text from Gerald. That's funny because my daughter's little one named her stuffed bunny Gerald. So when she walks in, I'll go, "Who's that?" And she'll go, "Gerald."
Oh, they say like it's Gerald.
It's Gerald, as if I'm stupid or something. That's kind of how she says it.
Well,
but listen to this. Listen to her give me a happy birthday the other day. Listen to this.
Happy birthday, Pops.
How cute is that?
Oh, that's so freaking cute.
How cute is that?
I can't stand it.
I know. I can't. I just love that kid. Anyway, he says, "Hey guys, you hear about the Jackbox Party Picker? Get it on the 28th." I sure did. So on the 28th of this month, Jackbox is putting out what they're calling their Party Picker. It's free. And if you already own a ton of Jackbox games, like I already have all the collections, this is like a front-end game picker so that it's not
now,
so
is it
damn
called
confusing.
the Mega Picker or is it the Party Picker?
I'm sorry. I said party. It is Mega Picker. Sorry.
Oh, no,
that's
what they said in the thing. They probably, it's easy to get confused, but Mega Picker. Okay. There we go.
Yeah, it's Mega Picker, Jackbox. Let's see. You can go wish list it now, which will help it be available when you'll know when it's out because it'll notify you. But it solves a major issue with the series, which is how do I find all the best stuff, the things we liked the most last time. Like it's going to have a way for you to say, I like this, but I don't like that. Or please put these 4 in this list that are always up front for me and I can get to real quick. And if you've got all of them like I do, freaking great. Also, if you don't, you can piecemeal buy them now too. So you can go, I just want that one game, and you can a la carte that game out of there. It's pretty rad.
Oh.
So, Gerald, yes. Gerald, not only have I heard of it, I am highly anticipation mode for it.
I am anticipation mode.
I am anticipation mode. Beep, boop, beep. All right. So I'm looking forward to it. Watch for that. If you'd like to be like Gerald, 801-471-0462. If you want to be like Adhesive Wombat, playretroshow@gmail.com. Now, the Retro Report. Oh, I already kind of played that. Ooh. Shit. We'll play another one.
Body Blow.
Body Blow. Let's do it.
Oh, I like that one. Ooh, we should make that one. Body Blow should be the one to welcome 20 years. It's like,
really
how old am I?
And it's just a good reminder. We have all these things going over at retrogib.com. I need to get over there and play some Unreal. I've been slack on all of it. But all the servers, all the links, all that stuff's there. Right, Brian?
That's it. You head over to retrogib.com and then head over to retroachievements.org and follow me. I am mission deep over there trying to get Scott to do it. I got a couple of Gradius bonuses this week, and I got even more on our next topic, but I don't want to mention what that is just yet. And last episode we played of Play Retro, we did a watch along afterwards, right? Didn't we do the X-Men last time we did a show?
We sure did. And we did that in Discord, and it was for everyone to come see, but only the archive goes to patrons. So if you want the archives, you got to be a Patreon supporter. If you want to be there live, you can be anyone. And hopefully we may squeeze in one Friday. We'll see. We don't know. Brian's got a crazy schedule this week, so we'll see if it happens.
We'll see. We'll see. Take part in the show. You can join that Discord server by joining frogpants.com/Discord. You can join us.
That's right. In our very next episode discussion, and that will be this Friday. So we're cramming on this one. Is Star Tropics. Yeah, that's right, baby. Woo!
What?
Star Tropics,
Finally.
baby! Yeah. Do you have any love for Star Tropics, or are we just picking?
I have some modern love. I got a bundle of NES games about a year ago when I was going through them, and one of them was Star Tropics. And I played the first 10 or 15 minutes of it, and I said, stop. This game is already getting to be too much fun. I can't wait to play this for Play Retro. So I put it in the slot, and Scott accepted. So
that's right.
There you go.
Everyone loves Star Tropics. Will you love it? Well, tune in and find out when we talk all about it next Friday at 1:30 Mountain Time, our normal time to record. And big thanks again, everybody, for accommodating my time away for my birthday. That was very nice of you.
You know it.
And we're glad to be back to give you a show. Patreon supporters need only go to patreon.com/playretro. If you are not a supporter yet, please do. Become like Peter Lepowski, who is our brand new patron. He signed up since last we spoke.
Peter!
Be like Peter. Sign up today for no commercials ever. Pre-show content every week. Little monthly extras here and there. Brian just put up the news thing today. It was great. It's up there now.
Oh, that was so much fun. We talked about just briefly about the Aerobat. Is that what it is? We have some news on that.
Yes, Aero. There's something new coming with Aerobat.
Acrobat.
Right? Or Acrobat.
Yeah, Aerobat. That's what
Aero the
Acrobat.
Right? Wait, hold on.
I talked about the news.
Aerobat. Aero the Acrobat. That's it.
We had so many names today. I can't be expected to remember the stuff at the end of the show.
That's a lot,
I cannot be expected.
No, it's a lot. I totally understand.
I was sharp this past weekend, though. Sharp.
But he's coming back, baby. He's making a surprise return. Brian talks all about it. So go check that out if you're a patron. If you're not a patron, sign up today and you get all the old stuff too. You don't have to start over. It's going to do it for us. PlayRetroShow@gmail.com. Once again, PlayRetroShow on Twitter, although I don't go there anymore, so F that. And then finally, frogpants.com/playretro for everything else. I got a quick note. If you have not taken the Frog Pants survey, I wish you would. All you got to do is go to frogpants.com/survey. Not trying to confuse you guys with too many links today, but taking a little survey from listeners and fans. We're just trying to make some decisions down the road, and some of that will help getting data from you. It's anonymous. You don't have to put even your name on there. You just go and fill this thing out. I would love it if you could help us out. That would be great. We need some Play Retro listeners in there clicking them boxes and telling us what you think. So go check it out. That's frogpants.com/survey. Also, I'm selling those things still. The Fallout Wasteland collection. Artwork that I did of three things: a hackable terminal, Pip-Boy, Vault Boy, whatever his name is, and I also did a giant Nuka-Cola statue with a bunch of people building it. And I drew those things, full beautifully printed bits of artwork in sets of 3. And there's no shipping in the States. If you like Fallout at all, or even just liked our Fallout 1 through Tactics discussion we had here on the show, this would be a great thing for you to grab over at frogpants.com. Just click on the store
cost.
No shipping.
There is shipping, but no shipping cost.
No shipping to you people at home. You're not getting charged shipping. Right. Unless you live outside the States, then you pay shipping. So sorry, Lucky Phil and people like that, you're paying shipping because you live in other parts of the world. If you're in the U.S.,
not so lucky, are you,
shipping.
Phil?
You get no shipping charge. That's what yeah, Brian's right. I should clarify.
Yeah, no shipping means you not getting it.
That's right.
No shipping charge means it don't cost you nothing.
You can also alternately go there at frogpants.shop. All right, that is going to do it for us. Brian, is there anything else you want to say before we go there?
Yeah, absolutely. It's only a couple of days. You gotta hurry up, play some Star Tropics. Oh my God, there's 2 of them. I didn't even know there's a 2.
I know,
See
right?
it, play retro.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get your Tropics on. We'll see you next week.
Tropical.
Tropical.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
Destroy them all!
Destroy them all.
That's what